months ago, I was sitting at the lunch table with my friends, and they were having conversation. They were making jokes, also having a little bit of deep discussion in there. It was just a regular convo. And I'm sitting next to them, pissed off, because I'm in the second stage of self improvement, which is basically, if you don't know what that is, it's when you know about the good habits, you know about cold showers, you know about philosophy, you know about all these things, and yet you're not doing them. And so when you do the bad habits, you feel like shit because you have that little voice in the back of your head that says, you shouldn't be doing this. And usually people get this like near the beginning of their self improvement, but this was my second year on self improvement. It still is my second year. This didn't happen that long ago. I was even angrier. I was even more pissed off because I felt that, oh, after a year of self improvement, you should be consistent. You should not have to struggle with simply doing the good habits and not relapsing. You should be able, like, keeping a strict diet should be second nature at this point. You should not have to struggle so much with just not eating fruit. You shouldn't have to struggle with relapsing because it's been a year already. And I had this like fixed mindset in my head that was telling me that if you don't get it in one go, that's it. It's over. Your identity is not, you're a hypocrite. You cannot achieve the desired self. And I was sitting there. I would sometimes sit there quiet. Sometimes I'd be there on my computer doing something. Sometimes I'd be writing something down or watching a video like from Hamza, just trying all different types of tactics to be productive again, to stop being a hypocrite. And then my friend, the one who I'm closest with, who was sitting next to me, while they're having their conversation and I'm sitting here just in silence, he would turn to me and they would all look at me and he'd be like making jokes. He'd be, like kind of, sometimes he would touch me. Other times he would ask me questions and I would give simple, boring answers, but he'd keep prying, he'd keep trying to get more complex answers out of me. And every time he would do this, which was really just him trying to start a regular conversation, it was just him trying to communicate with me, he would, no, I'm sorry, I would get super annoyed at this. I'd get super pissed off. I'd be thinking, why is this guy like does he not see that I'm doing something else, that I'm not in this conversation? Why does he keep prying and asking me all these questions? Can he not tell that I'm not trying to speak right now? Can he just leave me alone? And sometimes I would tell him, please, bro, just leave me alone for now. Not in those words, obviously kinder, but all the time I'd just be pissed off. I'd be angry. In the morning as well, during my second period, I have this geometry teacher whose I'm obviously not gonna say, but he walks in every morning and every time, just because of his personality, not even because of anything he's doing, his personality would make me angry. I wanted a substitute all the time because I found him so annoying. But this is not healthy. It's not right. It's not just to look at people and to get annoyed because they don't fit your idea of who the ideal teacher is, because they don't fit your ideal imagined version of them. So in this video, I want to show you how to overcome this anger. I want to show you how to overcome being annoyed with these people, being annoyed with the world. Because the more angry that you are, the more annoyed that you are, the less progress you make. And that is both in terms of material as well as in philosophy. Now, the goal with this is not to erase your anger, it's not to get rid of you being annoyed. Eventually, that is what we want to achieve, at some point in the distant future. But, like, let's be honest, in 1 year of doing this, you're not going to reach it. In 3 years or 5 years, you're probably still not going to reach it. So, what we should focus on now is not preventing the emotion, but rather controlling it. Controlling it, acknowledging it, redirecting it, just not indulging in that negativity. Because if we start focusing on not feeling the emotion, if we start focusing on not feeling things like anger and or sadness or lust or judgment, what we do is we punish ourselves for having the feeling, and it makes it harder to progress because the threshold is I don't know if that's the right word for it, but the bar is set too high. We are challenging ourselves way too much, and when you have a goal and you're not able to make consistent progress towards it, you feel like shit. You don't feel fulfilled. So don't focus on preventing the emotion from rising, from occurring, but instead, when you feel annoyed, like just think of a situation like when you're in public, when your family interrupts you when you're doing something important. Think of times when you've been annoyed and imagine yourself redirecting that emotion, acknowledging the feeling, recognizing that it's annoyance, that it's anger, that it's not their fault, that you have no reason to be angry, and then redirect it, or not redirect necessarily, but mold that feeling into something new. Mold it into love. Mold it into creativity. Mold it into understanding and compassion, into tranquility, into stillness. Mold that anger into something else and then confront the problem. Because, for one, 90% of the time, your anger is not justified. Your anger is simply a reaction to something you find mildly displeasing. You've probably seen that in public, right? Where people are yelling at somebody else, or two people are arguing, and you find out the context, and it's so fucking stupid. And you think to yourself, why couldn't they have just talked that out? Why did it have to get to that point where they're yelling at each other? What does that even fix? Both of them, once you start yelling and getting angry and aggressive, or once you start just being angry, even if you don't show it, just being angry, your mind is closed. You can't learn anything. You can't experience a new thing because your mind is closed off to that experience. It treats it's almost like a selfish emotion in a way, because anger, when you're angry or annoyed, you start blaming other things for your condition. You start saying, oh, why does this person do this to me? Why does this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? What did I do to deserve it? And that misunderstands the what humans are. That misunderstands the self, the individual. The individual is not an individual separate from the universe. The individual is unique, they're themselves, their own human, they have their own mind, but they're within the universe. They're a product of the universe, and thus they're still one with everything. They're not some special being that should for some reason avoid suffering, that should for some reason be exempt from pain. No. You still need to experience the same inconveniences and discomforts and problems as everybody else does. But then, you don't believe that when you're not aware of the oneness, when you're not aware of how connected everything is and how individuals are all the same. You treat yourself as special. Your ego is bigger. And so inconveniences happen, discomfort occurs, problems arise, and you get pissed off. You get annoyed at people and at things that you can't control. Redirecting and molding that annoyance, that anger. It's all about understanding. It's all about stoic understanding of what the emotion is and then turning it into something else consciously. You don't have to feel it. You just have to get that anger and just objectively do a logical analysis. Because many times you'll do that logical analysis, and even if the anger it hasn't completely gone away, you've still mitigated it. You've still reduced it, and you've made your mind clearer. You have more clarity now. So when you go to act, when you go to make a decision, it'll be a lot more logical, it'll be a lot kinder, and you won't end up regretting it. For your first actionable step, set a timer for 2 to 3 minutes and then visualize yourself getting into a situation that normally annoys you, that normally gets you pissed off. And then when you feel that emotion rising up in your body, in the same imagined scenario, visualize yourself turning that emotion into something positive, into something logical. Imagine yourself turning it into something like tranquility, stillness, compassion, love, forgiveness, understanding, these positive emotions. This is more like preparation for the real thing. Because out in the real world, there's always going to be things that annoy you. There's always going to be things that discomfort you, that piss you off. And so what you need to get used to doing is getting annoyed and then immediately reverting to your logic and saying, wait a minute, this is not out to target me. It's not doing anything really that bad to me. It's a little bit annoying, yes, but inconvenience is a part of life. So I just have to face this. I just have to control myself so I can respond with intention and so that I can respond in a good way. That's not going to make me feel regretful later. That's not going to harm anybody else. You also want to journal about stoicism consistently so that you reaffirm the behavior. You basically make it a subconscious thing that you do. Every day for like 10 to 15 minutes, it can be in the morning or at night, reflect on past behavior, reflect on your emotions, or just do reflection so that over time, when you get into these situations of conflict, your brain starts to automatically revert to logic and stoicism and emotional control rather than you just like acting automatically and doing stuff without even being conscious of it. That's going to be all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, turn the bell on so you get notifications whenever I post. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know if it helped you. Let me know what I could do better on. I'm always trying to improve this channel, make the videos more efficient, make the videos more concise and more to the point. If you guys would like me to do some other topics, if there's something specific you need help with, please put that in the comments and I will literally go learn it for you and experience it for you. With that being said, I'm able to conclude this video. Thank you. Have a good day.